But every time they strike you, it gets worse and worse to the point where they just stop your channel now altogether. Like
They'll
they're
let
really
you record,
yeah.
but you just won't
Oh,
get paid for it. What's going on,
Yeah.
guys? Welcome back to another
But
episode
every
of
time they
All
strike
Things
you, it
Horror.
gets worse
Sorry
and
for the
worse
actual over talking
to the
from
point where they
Drewski.
just stop your channel
Nope,
now
that wasn't that. That was on my
altogether.
headset. Yep. Anyway, welcome back. We're gonna do another. Yeah, sorry, man. Look, I turned our channel on to view the comments and it started talking. A little delayed.
Mm-hmm.
We got three news stories for you. I actually really didn't even look what the name is. Three Dexter Laboratory. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're doing that. Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't look into this at all. I just kind of went and run with it. So I hope y'all enjoy the show. I'm Danny Pro. That's Drewski, and that is Rel sitting there looking like Buddha in heaven. Get us have some food.
Buddha.
Gotta love it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this.
All
I'm
right.
good to go.
So it's three Dexter's Laboratories conspiracy stories.
Dude, I really 100% didn't even read what we were doing. I just went with it. I just went.
I see.
Go.
I see.
Like,
All right, y'all ready? Y'all
yes.
fans of Dexter's Laboratory, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that show.
Okay, cool.
I've always been a curious kid, and that curiosity has only
Ugly
grown
kid.
as I've gotten older.
I know.
I created so many experiments in my laboratory. Not only did I build the lab with my own two hands, but I also keep it a secret from my family. A few days ago, however, something happened that I still haven't been able to explain.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the lab late at night, working on a new project. Tinkering with my latest invention, I noticed something in the corner of the ceiling. It didn't look like a cobweb or dust particle, it looked oddly like an asteroid. Was ist dies? I grabbed a step ladder, climbed up to the spot, and then carefully removed the object. As soon as I did, a loud beeping sound filled the room. Stumbling backward, I dropped the object as the loud sound intensified. This can't be an asteroid! The beeping is too loud! As the object continued to
He
be
sounds
louder
so
and louder,
If the beeping
I
was
noticed
low, would
something
it?
peculiar about
Okay.
it. It seemed to be vibrating and emitting strange energy. Rushing to my lab, I grabbed a few tools and hastily examined the object.
I thought this was supposed to
Running
be a
some
conspiracy.
tests, I quickly discovered that this object wasn't an asteroid at all. The monitor I had attached to it soon began displaying lines of some sort of foreign code that the device was emitting on repeat. As I stared at the screen, I suddenly realized that this was some sort of alien AI device. Brilliant, brilliant! I must run some tests and figure out what this device is all
It
about.
made Dexter look
Grabbing
evil
my
as hell.
monitor and pressing the
It made him
transfer button,
German.
the code
Yeah,
on the
well,
screen began to rearrange into a
He
readable
kind of
form
had the
for
accent a
me.
little bit
As
on
I
the
read
show.
the code, however, I felt my
He
heart
didn't have a
start to
German
race.
accent.
On the
Kinda.
monitor in front of me, there were lines of code displayed in an almost perfect manner, detailing the day-to-day life of my parents and my sister. My family was being controlled by this device. Nine! This can't
No,
be happening!
you're right.
How
That's
could this have
100%.
gone unnoticed? As I stumbled backward in shock, however, the device suddenly began to move. It shook, oscillating on the table like some sort of possessed object, and the beeping sound intensified. The code on the monitor I had connected
Nothing
to
wrong
the
with it,
device
just threw me
began to
off.
change, and I heard the beeping noise from the object begin to morph into something I could understand.
Kill Dexter. Kill Dexter. Kill Dexter.
As it grew louder and louder, I heard a commotion from the door of my laboratory. Loud bangs and shouts from outside rose up, and I quickly glanced toward my security cameras. My family stood in front of my laboratory door, banging repeatedly at it.
Open the door, Dexter. Open the door.
There's
It was my
obviously
sister
something
who
wrong.
spoke, looking directly into the camera as though she was talking directly to me. How long had this AI been able to control my family? As I moved closer to the door, I heard the laughter of my parents. I had to get rid of the AI. Turning, I grabbed a hammer from the wall of my laboratory and smashed the device. The beeping stopped, and the room grew silent. After a few moments, I heard my sister's voice from outside the door.
What happened? Were you able to do it?
Yes, I'm coming, Dee Dee! I threw open the door, possibly too overjoyed over the fact that I had smashed the object to even consider the possibility of my family attacking me. As soon as I opened the door, however, I realized the mistake I had made. My sister stood there, my parents behind her. She held a knife in her hand, and her face was twisted into a maniacal grin.
Kill Dexter. Kill Dexter.
Dee Dee, stop! Her mouth moved on its own as she spoke, black liquid dripping from her eyes as she advanced on me. My parents stood behind her in some sort of trance, but she was the only one who spoke.
Kill Dexter.
And with that, she lunged forward. I was barely able to spring out of her way, running deeper into my laboratory as I heard her screams growing louder and shriller. I ran desperately, hearing her footsteps directly behind me, grabbing a cart with tools on it
He
and pushing
run
it in her
very,
path.
very,
I
very
turned and
light-footed.
began to climb a ladder to the top of the lab. When I looked down, I saw her face only a few feet behind me. Her eyes were completely black now, but liquid still dripped from the gaping holes. Get away from me! Stay back! I continued to climb the ladder till I reached the top, sweat dripping from my forehead and my heart pounding. My sister was only seconds behind me, so I began to run,
Yep, on the-
not looking back.
I
I
would have stepped on the
searched
head.
desperately for a way out, and suddenly I saw a vent. It was a duct I had installed a while back, one that I had forgotten about until now. I opened the vent and crawled inside, pushing
So
through the
screws work that
darkness.
way, huh?
I turned several
Yeah.
times as it split off into multiple paths, unsure where I was even going.
Why is he crawling? He can
Finally,
just stand
I
up.
came into a small, empty room, and I could just make out a dim light in the corner. I hopped out of the vent and hid in one of the corners of the room, my breathing heavy. I could hear thudding, the unmistakable noise of someone crawling through the vents. I scoffed, though, confident she would never find me. There were far too many twists and turns for her to follow. As I laughed silently to myself, however, I felt a sudden splash of liquid on my face. Turning my head slowly upward, I saw a sight I can only describe as horrifying. There, hanging off of the ceiling of the room, was my sister. Her eyes were still black, and the liquid was dripping from her mouth now.
Gotcha.
9! Stay back! But it was too late. She dropped from the ceiling, knife still in hand, and advanced on me. She was only inches away when I managed to grab one of the boxes I had hidden near, tossing it at her and tripping her backward. I ran from my room, sliding once
Way
more
more
into
than
the
one
vent
box.
system.
lying.
When I got back to my laboratory. As I did, however, I welded the vent shut and then I latched the door of the lab itself. They're still probably out there, trying to get back in. I could hear Dee Dee's screams through the walls, and I'm afraid she'll get in. I just hope that my parents aren't already somewhere inside.
Hey there. Guess who just found another way to save more money by switching to Food Lion private brand? And they have so many affordable items. Fajita nachos coming up. And my family
That
loves
sound
it.
good.
That's all I need to hear.
Fajita nachos. I'm down for that.
Apply today to Purdue University Global.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so,
So,
You can't call those IRL scary tales. 'Cause it can't be an IRL.
it doesn't say IRL.
IMR. Sorry. I read that way too quick.
All I'm
So-
saying is that it says conspiracy stories.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what
whose
conspiracy that was.
is this?
That
Yeah,
wasn't a conspiracy at all.
that was the story. Got that
Yeah,
part
it's a
right.
story.
It was cool. It was cool. It was-
I didn't really enjoy it.
I don't know.
I
Like,
thought,
Yeah.
like, first off, Dee Dee fast as shit.
yep.
And it's very unathletic. He'd have been caught and killed in the first 5 seconds.
Fair
And
enough.
also, Dexter is smart enough to actually look at the cameras again before he would open that door blindly.
Yeah.
And
Not
he
mention
was
Dexter, yeah.
great that she was standing out there with vampire sharp teeth
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
claws.
no, 100%.
Dexter would have
Plus, he
created
would've
a
had-
weapon or something.
He would have had a trap at the door to hold them down
Yeah. Yeah.
without him actually getting up out of his chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Dexter. Yep. Okay. Cool. We all in agreement. Next.
so please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you
Subscribe
want
to them.
support this channel and make this channel
And then subscribe to us for telling you to subscribe for them.
Subscribe. It's
Yes,
free, and you can
yes.
change your mind later.
Give me money.
Enjoy.
They say
I'm
there
just
is
joking.
always more than meets the eye, and I could make a clear example. My name is Dexter, and although today I am an important and profound scientist,
Pause, real
I had
quick.
a very lonely and traumatic.
I know what y'all gonna
Yeah.
say. This is actually in line with one of the episodes when he took that beard growth thing.
I
don't know if you
wasn't
remember
gonna
that.
say anything.
I don't know if you remember that. You remember the episode I'm talking about? Where he took the beard growth and he was actually running around with the action heroes?
Mm-hmm.
That's in line with that.
I thought this was from the episode where they went to the future, and there was actually another him that kind of looked like that.
Could be.
Mm.
Could be. I thought it was in line with the beard thing, but that makes sense too.
Okay.
All right.
Childhood. It wasn't always like that. I used to have 2 parents and an annoying sister until he took everything from me.
So he is the
For you to
future version.
understand what happened, I will start from the beginning. It all started the day a strange girl began to stalk me. At first, I was just a little boy genius with a huge lab. I was still very innocent, and I thought it was nothing more than a girl falling for my obvious male charms. But as I said before, there's always more than meets the eye. Together with my sister Dee Dee, we got the girl to meet a boy as strange as she is. I thought it would be the last time I would see her. Little did I know the fate that awaited me. The next day, I got up in a good mood, as I used to get up every day, brushed my teeth and had breakfast, and was on my way to catch the school bus. But on the way to it, I noticed a familiar figure standing 2 houses away, looking at me. It was the girl. Her gaze had not changed. It was still as terrifying and obsessive as before. Her eyes were frozen on me, registering my every move, not blinking in the slightest. I could say I was getting used to this strange look, but there was something different. The girl was covered in blood, all over her rabbit, her arms, her little purple dress, and her face. Blood was everywhere. I quickly got on the bus and went to the back seats. I looked out the window, and the girl was gone. The day passed quickly at school. That encounter with the girl had terrified me, and to top it off, it wasn't over yet. While I was in the classroom, I felt observed. I didn't know where or how, but I knew the girl was around.
Come on, Dexter, you're a genius. You can't be that scared. It's just a...
He went German again.
Interrupting my thoughts, I was able to confirm all my suspicions. The strange girl was
I now
looking
accepted
at the
it.
schoolyard. I could see her through the window. The girl remained for an hour in the same position, frozen.
I ain't
looking at
drawing
me.
them like
When it was
I
recess
know.
time, I thought about going to face her and ran straight to the playground. But again, she wasn't there. The rest of the day, I was very worried. Is this something girls used to do? All I knew was that I wanted to go home and lock myself in my lab, where I knew I would be safe. When the bus brought me back, I thought I would stop by the dining room and talk to my father. Dee Dee got off the bus and went straight to the neighbor's house to play with
Christ,
her,
everyone's
so
strung
I knew
out.
she wouldn't bother me.
Hello, Father. You see, there's something I want to talk to you about. I'm a little scared. There's a girl that's stalking me. I know this might be normal, but... Father? Oh! Mother! Mother! Mother, where are you? Something terrible's happened to Daddy!
The moment I arrived at this place, I realized that something was happening there too. The clothes were on the floor. My mom would never leave them there. I started to investigate until, unfortunately, I found my mom. She was inside the washing machine. It was spinning with difficulty as if it didn't fit. As if on purpose, my mother's face was looking in my direction, lifeless. I could be a genius child, but nothing could have prepared me to see this. My only reaction was to cry and run desperately to my lab. Once I locked myself in, I felt
No fucks for
safe.
Dee Dee, huh?
I had a lot to think about. What was going
Right.
on? Who could have done this to my parents? Did the girl have something to do with it?
It
My
did have a
thoughts
bunny
were
in his
interrupted
eye
when
socket.
behind the bookcase that hid my lab, a familiar voice began to shout.
Dexter, please, help me. They want to hurt me.
That was Dee Dee's voice. I grabbed my laser gun and went to save her. ready, I left the lab and went back to my room, and immediately saw my sister lying on the floor with her eyes closed. As I approached her, I could tell something wasn't right, and when I realized what it was, I started to cry. Her face was looking up at the ceiling, but her body was face down. Dee Dee was dead. Someone had bent her neck. A quick thought interrupted my tears. That's when the boy genius came back, but at the worst possible time. Wait a minute. Why would Dee Dee ask for my help? She knows how to get into the lab on her own. She doesn't need to hit the bookstore. Maybe this is a trap?
Dexter, please! Help me! Help me! They're trying to hurt me!
Dee Dee's corpse may be next to me, but the voice came from somewhere else. I turned around, and standing behind me, next to the shelf of furniture to enter my lab, was the creepy little girl.
You did this. Why?
Dexter, please! Help me!
I buy the same products you do, only I get them much cheaper.
Creepy
I
as
save
fuck.
hundreds of dollars a month by doing this once.
Help me! They want to hurt me!
What? What are you?
Suddenly, the girl rushed at me. I pulled out my gun and started shooting her. I no longer cared about what would happen. She had killed my whole family. With great speed, she started running across the room, dodging all my shots, until one hit her in the head, revealing a metal skull behind her skin.
Can't be. You're a robot.
In a great rush, the creepy girl threw herself at me again, to which I jumped back and took the opportunity to shoot her again. Each shot stunned her and threw her backward. Dominating the situation, I walked toward her, giving her shot after shot. I was no longer sad. I was furious. The last shot made her fall against the wall, and before I fired again, her head exploded. Once the threat had been extinguished, I knelt down and cried as hard as I could. I may have been left alone in the world, and at that moment, I felt broken. But I knew whose technology this was. I knew who could hate me enough to do this. No matter what, I would not let Mandark, my scientific archenemy, get away with this.
Oh, lady, my love, you're alive. I'm sure you're mad at me, but I assure you, I never tried to hurt you. I knew you were going to your friend's house that day, and I knew you'd managed to escape. Dee Dee? This way of moving. You're not Dee Dee. You're a robot.
Dee Dee is no longer with us. Your little friend took care of that, and now I'll see to it that you don't hurt anyone else.
No!
I may have still been trapped in the body of a little boy, but that day, the boy in me died. I was never again going to let anyone hurt me or anyone I loved.
I like that one. I like that one a little better. That one was well written. It definitely brought it back together based upon whoever actually wrote that one knew the story a little bit better than the first story for sure.
Yeah, I'm
not sure about the artistic though on that.
Yeah,
that was a little flabby for children. It was like a flab here and a flab there.
The art style is pretty bad.
Yeah, honestly, on that one, I have to agree.
Yeah.
That's the first time I said that one, though. By the way, that's crazy.
What, did you agree with me?
I was 14
No,
years
that
old when I met Dexter.
I actually
He
critiqued
came
someone's art style on that because I mean it just didn't fit Dexter.
It doesn't at all. They could do better.
I can already tell you right now, even at the pause menu here, this art style is a little bit better. It's more clean line. That's what Dexter was. But go ahead, Drew. Why'd you pause?
The first time I noticed him was in the science lab. Our teacher
I'm
asked a
taking
trick
back exactly
question,
what I
and
said.
Dexter was the one who answered it in a whiff. Though everyone got the impression of the new nerd in town, I had mixed feelings. He avoided every other kid like a plague, always ate lunch alone, and hardly talked about anything other than assignments. He was very smart, no doubt, so when Mrs. Rupert asked us to pair up for our biology assignment, I chose him. My grades were low
this is from
and I
her
wanted to
perspective.
improve. I walked up to Dexter, who was watching the freshly skinned frog lying on the tray with undivided attention.
Hi, I'm Casey. I wanted to ask you something.
His eyes shifted towards me, and he spoke in a cracked up voice.
This better be important, woman. You're interrupting my very delicate calculations.
I couldn't understand.
What?
Have you not
Whoa, what?
realized that the German has gone progressively stronger in every video? Like, and Dexter got a pair of legs now that's the same size as everybody. That kind of messes with me a little bit.
Did you hear the accent? Like, it started with the accent and slowly decreased.
Yeah.
So there's no accent. Hold on.
For our biology assignment,
I have to hear this again just to make
my
sure.
grades were low and I wanted to improve. I walked up to Dexter, who was watching the freshly skinned frog lying on the tray with undivided attention.
Hi, I'm Casey. I wanted to ask you something.
His eyes shifted towards me, and he spoke in a cracked up voice.
This better be important, woman. You're interrupting my very delicate calculations.
I couldn't understand what kind of calculation can be done from a dead frog, but I continued in a polite tone.
I was wondering if we could be lab partners. I need your help to up my grades.
Good.
What?
It's good to know that you're stupid. Other kids
Damn.
in school just don't bother.
No matter how obnoxiously rude
Damn.
he was, I still kept quiet.
Damn. Like,
Purpose. We signed our names as lab partners.
he
and I
agreed
asked
to give her a
him
good
if he'd
grade,
be
but
interested
damn.
to discuss the project at my house. Surprisingly, he asked me to do it in his place. Knowing how secretive and mysterious this new kid was, I never expected him to invite me into his den. But I was very curious to know about his
There's no
life,
stranger
so
danger
I
vibes going on
immediately
right now?
agreed. He lived behind the graveyard in a big old house. As we reached the gate, I said,
Whoa. Doesn't it feel weird to live here?
Why? They're all dead. What will they do?
I smiled awkwardly.
I mean,
He was joking, but he kept a serious face.
pretty
like
logical.
always. He rang the doorbell about 5 to 7 seconds. A woman welcomed us in. Dexter introduced her as his mom, and I kid you not, she was even weirder than him. She barely blinked, and her movements were so lifeless.
He's
Mom,
bringing back the
this is my
dead
lab
for her
partner,
family.
Casey. We will be.
Ooh, just in time. It's starting to rain again. So let's get inside and meet these puppies.
No.
We'll be studying in my room. Don't disturb us.
Okay, son.
Robots.
She sounded so freaking dead. I was shocked to see how Dexter controlled her.
What are you
mom
doing
as
with your
she was
mouth?
the
Stop
boss
it.
of the house. We walked past a long corridor and then entered the room. I was expecting his room to be filled with gadgets and science stuff, but it was a very normal room. A little too normal for a nerdy teenager. There was a study table and a bed. That's all. He went to get some water and warned me not to touch anything in his room. Nothing to touch. Once he left, I sat on his bed wondering how everything wasn't adding up when I saw this red button on the wall. I got up to inspect it closely. It looked more like a fire alarm, but why was it in his room?
What are you doing?
I heard
Button.
Dexter's voice from behind.
What does this button do?
Nothing your stupid brain can understand. So move away.
This was the final straw he pulled, and in anger, and to teach him a lesson, I pressed it.
Casey, no!
As soon as I did that, the opposite wall of the room slid open, and a secret laboratory surfaced
In
front
her
of my
defense,
eyes.
it's a
It was
big
bigger
giant
than our
red
school
button
lab,
hiding
and
a
had
secret
so
lab.
many scientific instruments I was seeing for the first time. But what scared me the most was these 3 huge incubators placed in a row right in the center of the lab. Each was roughly 7 to 9 feet tall and filled with an ominous green liquid. And that wasn't all. In the 3 incubators floated 3 identical women, looking none other than Dexter's mom.
How? What? What the hell is this?
Nothing. Just my experiments.
Are these some weird dolls of your mother?
Silly humans. They are all my mother.
What?
The one in the middle is the only born one, and the other 2
Hey, Blue.
were created by me. I cloned them.
My head started banging. Is this guy effing kidding me? Did he clone his mom?
What happened to your mom?
Nothing. She killed herself when my dad left her, and I started to get lonely. I refused to bury her, unlike those other corpses, so I made clones of her. But the first 2 experiments were failures. Both of them were nothing like her. The 4th one, the one who just let us in, is my new addition to this collection. So far, so good. But let's see.
Is this even possible?
I mean, it's
I can't
happening.
believe it. You just bloody cloned a human being?
Oh, Casey, don't be so
I'd be like, hey, can you clone me, son?
stripping of the old before you can make way for the new. I won't stop till I make her exactly how she was, how she cared for me and smiled at me. None of the clones ever smiled or blinked. They're just dead humans walking like robots. But I won't give up. I am a genius, and I will bring her back, Casey. I will.
Suddenly, a loud
He's
thud
explaining
took
a lot
place
of
outside his
plans.
room. Dexter ran towards it, as he had already guessed what the sound meant. I followed the maniac, and once we stepped into the living room, I saw a horrible sight. Dexter's 4th clone's mom was lying on the floor, quivering violently, like she was having a seizure. Tons of green fluid exploded from every inch of her body, from her eyes, from her mouth, and from her ears.
No! No! This wasn't supposed to happen! Mother! Mother!
Dexter ran towards the clone, who was adding up to be his other failure in creating his mom's clone. He grabbed her head with his hand and started shaking it like a madman. He screamed and cried, trying his best to save the clone from dying out, but it was too late already. I wanted to help him. I wanted to tell him that the experiment he was doing could never be successful. Bringing a dead person back has always been against the natural law of the universe. But I couldn't stand and watch this insanity anymore. I ran back to his room, grabbed my bag, and made my way out of Dexter's house. When I was on the porch, I turned back to glance at a broken boy going crazy over his mother's unfortunate death. Dexter looked at me with angry, tearful eyes, and then shut the door in my face. Reaching home, I couldn't tell my parents what I saw at a 14-year-old boy's house. I knew no one will believe me. I was petrified to face Dexter in school the next day. Now that I knew his secret, I was sure my life was in danger too. But surprisingly, Dexter never showed up. He left without a trace. A few months later, his house turned into this abandoned place where no one set foot. I never dared to check if his secret laboratory was still inside his room or not. Deep down, I still believe he's going on with his freaky experiment.
All right. Honestly, I'm just going to be very quick about this one because there's not a lot to say here. I'm going to actually start my score. I'm going to give you a 2. I really didn't enjoy much of anything. And now the only thing I would say is that the middle story. No, was it the middle story? No, the first.
Yeah,
how many?
It was the
stories
middle
was?
one.
When Dexter was actually the grown-up version of himself.
It was number 2.
Okay, I enjoyed that aspect of the story, but I don't know. It's just nothing really clicked to me. I'm giving you 2. Good try. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I enjoyed the stories. The animation, not so much, but I enjoyed the stories. They were very creative. But I would give it
1.5.
I'd give it about a 2.
Huh?
1.5 uncut.
I knew you.
I would give it a 2 as well.
A 2 as well.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
I mean, it was just watching it, but it had no.
Yeah,
no
it was
funny,
just
no
something to
nothing.
look at.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just watching something.
It was just a little
I'll
bit better
keep it G,
than
I
like.
was pretty bored during that last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting sleepy.
I understand.
Oh, you just
Yeah,
also ate like a huge portion of food. That might make you a little sleepy too, but I do agree with you.
Yeah.
Hey, check it. That ain't got nothing to do with it because if I'm watching something that keeps my attention, then I'm good. But that wasn't keeping my attention.
That was not it. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
it wasn't.
I am not gonna lie to you. Like honestly, hands
Go
down. Yeah, no, it's not like you had like I don't know. You just had nothing that would actually entertain.
Nope.
No entertainment.
Yeah. Now I
was
gotta
like-
eat a melon bar.
Just a little bit better than one of those school videos that you're forced to watch.
Nice. And that art style.
Yeah.
Yeah, saggy skin wasn't really for me for the Dexter thing. I don't know why that was the thing.
All of that shit was such trash.
Yeah. I hate
Yeah.
to say it, man, but I really do. I'm looking for something for you. I mean, you tried.
Yeah.
I gave it a 1.5 uncut.
1.55 cut.
All right, so we had a
Drewski didn't do
3.5.
it.
No, 5.5. 5.
Wow.
5.5 uncut.
Do, do,
Or
do,
4.5.
do,
5.5.
do.
Yeah.
So what? What was the score? You said like 17 different scores. What was the score?
5.5.
5.5. Are you sure? Your final score?
No. 2, 4. Yeah. Final score.
Okay. Well, anyway, guys, like I said before, we're going to give you the honest opinions on this one. We didn't enjoy it, so there's nothing more I can say about that. But I do appreciate y'all checking out the show. So if you did like what you saw, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment in that comment section, and I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Deuces.
Deuces.
Deuce.